So people want Chelsea Football Club to go spend £70 million on Mudryk and now actively go after Kvaratskhelia and spend €100 million on him. It's lies, and I'm going to explain to you why, and the sources such as Fabrizio are on my side. Then Mason Mount's people are talking a lot of nonsense, and we're going to break it down about how Chelsea did the right thing to get him to leave, but yet he wants to say he's happy with the decision. Maurizio Sarri regrets leaving Chelsea Football Club. Reece James is acting like the captain that he has to be and is showing the pathway for the Cobham kids. And finally, Chala. Mr. Trevor Chala has overplayed his hand in my opinion, and it looks like 3 big clubs on the international stage are actively ruling out a move for him, and he might be ending up at a Nottingham Forest as he initially feared. Let's get into it. Let's break these stories down. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratochi. You already know the deal. You saw the running order. You evidently enjoy what we're doing, so you stayed to watch. But before we get started, can we have 1,000 likes on this video? Because that's the best way you guys can support me and Tashiko over there. Secondly, subscribe to the channel, because obviously if you subscribe, it helps the channel get bigger and it helps me massively. And finally, hit that share button, because Tashiko and me want to go viral, okay? Obviously, because we want the channel to grow. Now, let's start with the video. All right, let's start with story number 1. Story number 1 is rumors that Chelsea are actively looking at Kvaratskhelia. Yes, that is the way you pronounce it. Coming from a Georgian man that was born in Tbilisi, that lived there till the age of 5, I know how to pronounce that name. So learn it and try to say it without breaking your tongue. The trick is the kh. We have a letter called kh. So that's the reality of it. But Chelsea have been looking at Kvaratskhelia purely based on the fact that they've been looking at Victor Osimhen. And the reason they've been looking at Victor Osimhen is because we need a number 9, and evidently, apparently, Chelsea are trying to agree personal terms with him, and Kvaratskhelia has popped up on the radar when they've been analysing Victor Osimhen. Fabrizio Romano has come out and debunked all those nonsense stories, because what we need to understand is Kvaratskhelia is going to cost around about €100 million. Chelsea are not going to go and overlay €100 million transfer when they just purchased Mudryk in January. So what we need to understand, that Fabrizio said things can change very quickly, they appreciate his talent, but they're not going to actively go and pay that kind of money, because there's the belief that Mudryk is going to be the solution. What the real question needs to be, instead of can we go get Kvaratskhelia, is what the hell are we going to do with Mudryk if you're already looking for alternatives? Guys, we need to develop Mudryk, and we need to develop Noni Madueke. You went and spent £35 million on Noni, and you went and put £63 million or £70 million on Mudryk. It is time to give them opportunities and develop them, but at the same time, demand some kind of instantaneous signs. Not even success, just sign. You've got Sterling to take the initial load. Nkunku is going to come and take the initial load. Cole Palmer is years ahead of his development. The other 2 clearly aren't. So we need to slowly ease them in, or you need to cut your losses. Chelsea need to make a decision now. Do they view Mudryk as the player that could potentially become world-class and be a starter for this team and potentially be worth his transfer value? If they do, slowly ease him in. If they don't, cut your losses and go get Kvaratskhelia. And that's the real issue. Story number 2 is regarding Reece James. Reece James has put up a picture with a youngster from the Cobham Academy, and he basically is hugging him and he's trying to tell him that the chance is there. People are going to say, Alex, what are we talking about? This is the epitome of what Cobham is. A lot of people go, oh my God, you guys love Cobham. Oh, you guess it up. Yes, I love Cobham. And the reason I love Cobham is it produces some of my favourite players in this current squad. We've got Armando Broja, who I really rate. We've got Reece James, who is our captain and arguably our best player. We've got Levi Colwill, that could become one of our best centre-backs. And we've got Ian Maatsen and Conor Gallagher. And the fact that we've got 5 players within our 25 squad that are pivotal roles, have pivotal roles off the bench or contribute from starting position for Chelsea Football Club, means Cobham's doing something right. And the reality is, Reece James is a walking definition for these players. Pictures like this, A, means a lot for the youth academy player, because it's like, oh my God, Reece James knows who I am, and I'm getting the respect from the captain of Chelsea. Number 2, it highlights to the youth player, I could be that Reece James if I conduct myself. And number 3, if they don't develop to the standard that Chelsea want them to be, we can sell the player. he goes on to have a great career elsewhere, and we make a heck of a lot of money. So this is just a quick way of me saying, appreciate Cobham. Reece James is doing his duties as a captain, and we have got a bright future of next crop of players coming. Speaking of selling the next batch of players, then this story is very interesting, because all of a sudden now, Trevor Chalobah's time at Chelsea has really come to an abrupt end. Trevor Chalobah broke through under Thomas Tuchel. Not only did he excel, he looked very special. I think Trevor went on a 32 or 36, something like that, game run where we never lost with Trevor starting or playing. He was very pivotal in our victories of the Super Cup. He played in the Club World Cup, and he was just accustomed to that team. There was a period where under Tuchel, we were in the title race until December. The one and only Trevor Chalobah was an immovable object. He was absolutely killing it for us, and absolutely reliable, consistent, honest, and trustworthy in this team. Yet, after a while, either Tuchel just moved away from him, or he just lost trust in him. And now what has happened? It looks like Trevor Chalobah, after signing a 7-year deal, is now on the verge of leaving the club. And in the summer, we had Bayern Munich that wanted him, but just couldn't agree a deal. Well, it looks like they have officially cooled off their interest. They no longer are interested in the player. They don't think he's worth the money that Chelsea are asking for. Dortmund, who were interested as well, are no longer interested in the player for numerous reasons. Number one, price is very high. Number two, the injuries are a little bit alarming. Spurs as well. Spurs were actively looking to sign the player. Chelsea did not want to send him to Spurs. And what happened? Once again, they have now cooled off their interest because they don't want an injury-prone player. And why is he injury-prone? Well, the fact of the matter is, Trevor Chalobah hasn't played a minute this year. He was injured majority of the summer. He came back into training, re-injured himself, and now it looks like he's going to be injured until middle of January. This is crazy because this was a calculated risk from Trevor and his agency or his representatives, whoever is his agent and the people that do deals on his behalf. They didn't want to go to Nottingham Forest, and it looks like the clubs above Nottingham Forest no longer want him. So now he's essentially going to end up there. I'm not saying if he went there he wouldn't have got injured, but I'm saying if he went there he would have been already accustomed to a new style, and he most probably would have been playing consistent football at a new club. Now I don't know how strong his bargaining power is and how strong his position to get a transfer is going to be. For Chelsea, this is going to be pure profit on the FFP books. This is going to be a way of balancing the books where Ian Maatsen and Trevor Chalobah in January, I expect to be moving on for a combined fee of around about 60 to 70 million pounds. And that's going to be very good for Chelsea Football Club. The final two stories regarding Maurizio Sarri and Mason Mount need to be combined together. This first story is about Mason Mount's people apparently are telling The Athletic, the sources, they're telling them that Mason Mount doesn't regret leaving Chelsea Football Club at all. If anything, he thought he'd be missing it more. He really isn't. He feels like playing in front of a big crowd at Old Trafford is really nice, and he's really enjoying and relishing the moments. The reality is, I don't think Mason Mount has went anywhere and put up some tricks. You know, I don't think he's went somewhere and looked like the star that everyone told me he is. People told me, oh my God, you don't know how much we're going to regret it. We cannot lose Mason Mount. Money, Mace, is unmovable. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've got no feelings towards Mason. Mason Mount was an individual that came through our academy. Mason Mount won a Champions League with us. But Mason Mount also was very average for Chelsea Football Club here and there. He had very good spells where he looked very promising, but then he also had a lot of spells where he was very frustrating, and I would argue not contributing enough for a player in a starting role at Chelsea. So us moving him for 55, rising to 60 million pounds is phenomenal business by the board. So if Mason Mount is happy at Old Trafford, big man, I'm happy for you that you're away from our club, honestly. The Sarri news is the interesting one, because for those of you that didn't watch the channel, I was a massive fan of Maurizio Sarri. I think the way Maurizio Sarri's teams play, whether it's Empoli, Napoli, Lazio, Chelsea, Juventus, maybe not so much Juventus because he never got to implement what he wanted at Juventus, is very interesting. I love the way they dominate the ball. I love the way they can defend without the ball in big games. I love the way that their wingers are very direct and they make the same runs over and over. I love the system, that it is very aggressive and pinpoint passing with control. So for me, Maurizio Sarri was a very good Chelsea manager, purely based on the fact I was entertained, I liked what we were building, and he left. But he really explained why he left. He said he didn't feel like he was having a great time at Stamford Bridge. The last few months he really enjoyed. He started seeing the labors of his, the fruit of his labor. He started seeing that we were starting to play some decent football, and that is very true. If people go and look at the Arsenal game at the final, everything we were working for in that season came to fruition. Everything we were building towards in that season, the automation in our play, the way Hazard, Giroud and Pedro were linking up, and the way we were overloading in midfield, it was very, very positive. I think we were building towards something, and the tactics that he implemented into the team almost helped Lampard take over. And for 12 months, until Frank removed the Sarriism from the team, we were actually a very competent team. Even when Hazard left, we were good. Frank added on top of that, and eventually the players just did not take to Frank. So he said he regrets leaving Chelsea for Italy at that moment in time, but he just felt like he wanted to go home. That happens sometimes, people. I really regret the fact that Sarri left. I think we could have still most probably had him for 3-4 years as a manager. But it is what it is. This was the Kavkas View. I hope you lot enjoyed it. I'm glad that the football's back on Saturday. We're going to have a match preview tomorrow regarding the game. We're going to be very happy. We're going to be very honest. And we're going to cover Maurizio Pochettino's press conference. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts, papitos. Big up. I'm out.